welcome to another episode of our podcast. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Mason. Today's topic is one that affects so many of us. Don't waste your time. Stop. We'll dive into how to manage your time effectively and tackle procrastination.
Absolutely. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's preview some key vocabulary that we'll be focusing on today.
Great idea. Here's what we'll cover: procrastination, time management, prioritization, and deadlines. We'll explain these terms in detail throughout our conversation.
Exactly. We'll start by discussing what procrastination is and why it happens. Then, we'll explore some effective time management strategies to help you stay on track.
Let's begin with procrastination. Mason, how would you define procrastination, and why do you think people struggle with it?
Procrastination is when you delay or put off tasks that need to be done, often in favor of more enjoyable activities. People procrastinate for various reasons: fear of failure, lack of motivation, or feeling overwhelmed.
That makes sense. Procrastination can really hinder progress. I've found that it often happens when a task feels too daunting or uninteresting.
Absolutely. It's easier to avoid tasks that seem intimidating or boring. But avoiding them usually just makes things worse in the long run.
I completely agree. For me, procrastination often leads to last-minute stress and a feeling of being rushed. It's like trying to fix things in a hurry when it's almost too late.
Yes, the stress from procrastination can be intense. It's important to recognize it early and take steps to manage it effectively.
Now, let's move on to time management. What are some strategies you use to manage your time effectively?
I find that creating a to-do list helps a lot. Breaking down tasks into smaller, manageable chunks makes them seem less overwhelming. Prioritizing these tasks is crucial, too.
That's a great approach. Prioritizing tasks helps ensure you focus on what's most important. I also use a calendar to keep track of deadlines and appointments.
Calendars are incredibly useful for visualizing your schedule. Another technique is setting specific goals and deadlines for each task. This helps create a sense of urgency.
Setting deadlines is key. It can push you to complete tasks on time. Have you ever tried time blocking? It's when you allocate specific time slots for different tasks.
I have. Time blocking is effective because it helps you stay focused during those allocated periods. It minimizes distractions and improves productivity.
Definitely. I've found that during time blocks, I'm more concentrated and less likely to get sidetracked. It's like having a mini deadline for each task.
Procrastination can be a tough habit to break. What are some practical steps people can take to overcome it?
One useful approach is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This prevents small tasks from piling up.
That's a great tip. Tackling small tasks right away can prevent them from becoming overwhelming. What about larger tasks that seem too big to start?
For larger tasks, breaking them down into smaller, manageable steps can help. Also, setting specific milestones and celebrating progress can keep you motivated.
Celebrating progress is so important. It acknowledges your efforts and encourages you to keep going. It's like giving yourself a pat on the back.
Exactly. And don't forget to remove distractions. Create a focused work environment where you can concentrate without interruptions.
Distractions can be a major barrier to productivity. Creating a dedicated workspace can make a big difference.
Now, we'll dive into how to apply the time management strategies we discussed earlier and keep ourselves motivated.
Exactly. Let's start by talking about how to incorporate these strategies into our daily routines. Mason, what's one method you find effective for staying on track?
One method I really like is the Pomodoro technique. It involves working for 25 minutes, then taking a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, you take a longer break. It helps maintain focus and prevent burnout.
That's a great technique. I've heard that using a timer can make a big difference in staying disciplined. I've tried it myself and found that those breaks are so refreshing.
Definitely. The breaks give your brain a chance to rest, which can boost productivity. Have you found any other techniques that work well for you?
Yes, I've started using a daily planner to schedule tasks and set deadlines. It's really helpful to see everything laid out. I also like to set specific goals for each day.
Daily planners are fantastic. It's like having a roadmap for your day. Setting goals makes it easier to prioritize tasks and stay focused. Do you use any apps or tools to help with planning?
I do. I use a combination of apps for task management and calendar scheduling. They help me keep track of deadlines and appointments. It's like having a personal assistant in my pocket.
That sounds incredibly organized. Apps can be a lifesaver for managing time. I also like to use reminders and alarms to stay on track with deadlines.
Reminders are key, especially for tasks that aren't urgent but still important. They help ensure nothing slips through the cracks.
Now, let's talk about motivation. It's one thing to manage time effectively, but staying motivated can be a different challenge. What strategies do you use to stay motivated, Sophia?
One thing that really helps me is breaking down big projects into smaller tasks. It makes the work seem less overwhelming and provides a sense of accomplishment as I check things off.
That's a great approach. Celebrating small victories can be very motivating. I also find that setting rewards for completing tasks helps keep me motivated.
Rewards are a fantastic idea. What kind of rewards do you usually set for yourself?
Sometimes it's a small treat, like a favorite snack or a coffee break. Other times, it's something bigger, like a night out with friends. It's all about finding what motivates you personally.
I love that. Making time for something enjoyable as a reward can really boost your morale. Another thing I do is remind myself of the bigger picture, the reasons why the task is important.
Absolutely. Keeping the end goal in mind can help maintain focus and drive. I also like to visualize the satisfaction of completing a task. It helps me push through the difficult parts.
Visualization is powerful. It's amazing how seeing yourself succeed can motivate you to keep going. What about dealing with setbacks? How do you handle it when things don't go as planned?
Setbacks can be tough. I try to approach them with a problem-solving mindset. Instead of getting discouraged, I analyze what went wrong and how I can adjust my approach.
That's a constructive way to handle setbacks. It's important to view them as learning opportunities rather than failures. Adjusting your strategy and moving forward is key.
Exactly. It's all about resilience and adapting to challenges. It's also helpful to maintain a positive mindset and not be too hard on yourself.
Being kind to yourself is so important. We all have off days, and that's okay. The key is to get back on track and keep pushing forward.
Now, we'll share some real-life applications and personal stories to illustrate how effective time management and motivation strategies can make a difference.
Let's dive into some real-life examples. Mason, do you have a personal story about how a time management strategy really helped you?
Absolutely. I remember a few months ago, I was working on a big project with a tight deadline. I was feeling overwhelmed and struggling to stay focused. That's when I decided to try the Pomodoro technique we talked about.
That sounds like a game changer. How did it work out for you?
It was incredible. By breaking the project into 25-minute chunks, I was able to maintain my focus and manage my time more effectively. The frequent breaks kept me refreshed, and I completed the project on time. Plus, I felt less stressed overall.
That's a great example of how a technique can transform your productivity. Did you face any challenges while implementing it?
Initially, it was hard to stick to the timer because I'd get caught up in my work, but I made a habit of setting the timer and sticking to it. It took a little discipline, but the results were worth it.
It's fantastic that you pushed through those initial challenges. Habits take time to form, but it sounds like it paid off. I have a similar story. I once had a project where I was juggling multiple tasks. I started using a task management app to prioritize and schedule everything.
Which app did you use?
I used Todoist. It helped me create a clear list of tasks and deadlines. The visual organization made it easier to see what needed to be done and when. I also set reminders to keep myself accountable.
That's a solid approach. It's amazing how technology can assist with organization. Have you encountered any difficulties with task management apps?
One challenge I faced was overloading my to-do list. I had to learn to be realistic about what I could accomplish in a day. Balancing ambition with practicality is key.
That's a valuable lesson. It's easy to overestimate what we can do in a short time. Setting achievable goals is crucial.
Let's talk about applying these strategies to everyday life. How do you manage your time and stay motivated with your daily routines?
I try to start my day with a clear plan. I use a combination of a daily planner and a digital calendar to outline my tasks and appointments. It helps me visualize my day and stay on top of everything.
That sounds like a well-rounded approach. I also find that setting aside specific times for breaks and personal activities helps maintain balance and avoid burnout.
Absolutely. It's important to carve out time for relaxation and hobbies. It keeps you energized and prevents work from becoming overwhelming.
Speaking of balance, how do you handle unexpected interruptions or changes in plans?
I try to remain flexible and adjust my schedule as needed. If something urgent comes up, I prioritize it and then reschedule less critical tasks. It's about adapting without letting stress take over.
Being adaptable is crucial. I've learned to keep a buffer in my schedule for such instances. It helps reduce stress and makes it easier to manage unexpected changes.
That's a smart strategy. It's also helpful to communicate any changes to others if you're working as part of a team or have shared responsibilities. Now, we'll summarize everything we've discussed, share some additional tips, and offer final reflections to help you make the most of your time.
Let's start with a quick recap. We've talked about various time management techniques, including the Pomodoro technique and task management apps. We also shared personal stories and real-life applications to illustrate how these strategies can be effective.
Right. We explored how breaking tasks into manageable chunks and using tools to organize our schedules can boost productivity. We also discussed the importance of setting realistic goals and maintaining flexibility.
Exactly. Now, let's dive into some additional tips that can further enhance your time management and motivation.
Here's a tip I find really helpful. Try incorporating time blocking into your routine. Allocate specific blocks of time for different types of tasks like work, exercise, and relaxation. This can help you stay focused and ensure you're dedicating time to all important areas of your life.
That's a great suggestion. Time blocking can make your schedule more structured and prevent tasks from overlapping. Another tip is to prioritize your tasks using the Eisenhower matrix. This tool helps you categorize tasks based on their urgency and importance.
Yes, and remember to regularly review your progress. Reflecting on what you've accomplished and what still needs attention can keep you motivated and on track.
Absolutely. It's also beneficial to set aside time for self-care and relaxation. Balancing productivity with rest helps maintain overall well-being and prevents burnout.
Let's talk about some daily routines and habits that can support effective time management. For instance, starting your day with a morning routine can set a positive tone for the day.
Yes, having a morning routine can increase productivity and focus. It might include activities like exercising, planning your day, or even meditating.
And don't forget the power of a good night's sleep. Quality rest is crucial for maintaining energy levels and mental clarity.
Before we wrap up, let's share some final thoughts on how managing our time effectively has impacted our lives. For me, using these strategies has reduced my stress and helped me achieve a better work-life balance.
Same here. Embracing time management techniques has made me more organized and less overwhelmed. It's empowering to see how small changes can lead to significant improvements.
That's a wonderful perspective. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making consistent efforts to improve how we manage our time and stay motivated.
Exactly. Everyone's journey is different, and finding what works best for you is key. Be patient with yourself and keep experimenting with different strategies.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through time management and motivation. We hope you found these insights valuable and that they inspire you to make positive changes in your life.
It's been a pleasure discussing this topic with you. We encourage you to apply these strategies and see how they work for you. Until next time, take care and make the most of every moment.
Thanks for listening, and we look forward to having you with us on our next podcast. Have a great day.
See you next time.